Welcome to New Realities. My name is Alan Steinfeld, and this program is about the evolution of consciousness. It seems like now on this planet there are many teachers coming, many people who are bringing knowledge of other realms, and all the programs I've done have been about how do we access this knowledge, how do we become the divine beings that we always were. So tonight's guest is very much a part of bringing new knowledge, old knowledge, wisdom to the planet. His name is John J. Oliver. He's someone I've known for years, and I'm happy you're here, John. You know, the thing about John is, and the thing about you, you're like a spiritual all-star. You do crystal readings, you're a psychic, you're a channel, you do astrology, feng shui. I mean, it's as if you're accessing all these realms that most people make a career out of one of those things. So I think they're all connected. I want to talk about how like feng shui, astrology, crystals are all part of like some current that runs through humanity.
Okay, so let's look at it like this. When we're on our spiritual evolution,
yes,
we come to a certain point where we have the wall. We want to climb, we want to grow, we want to go to the next level, and we have the wall.
Now, what is the wall?
The wall is our limitations that say, this is all that we see. I'm only my physical body. I'm only here to survive. I'm only here to pay the bills. It's the veil we talk about in metaphysics so much. And in our mystery school, we have a definition of the veil that goes like this. First of all, the veil doesn't exist. The veil begins where our perception ends. And so that's what the wall is. So all of those things that you mentioned, whether it's feng shui, using crystals, using tarot cards, using any of the modalities, they fall all under the same thing.
Right.
And those are the tools that help us to get to our spiritual initiation.
Wait, let me just digest that, because that's very much about what New Realities is about, perception. So where perception ends is where we see
the veil.
The veil. So how do we enlarge our perception to see new realities? What's the process you take people through in your mystery school? John has a mystery school, which is about living as a spiritual being, as an adept, which is what we're really all here to do. So how do you take people to expand their perceptions?
Okay, first of all, however people have been doing things, if someone is in their life and whatever they're trying to arrive at, how they have been attempting to go beyond that wall, obviously has not worked. So if anyone has been in no matter what the modality is, and they're still not looking beyond the veil, if they're still not healthy, if they still don't know what their life's mission is, if they don't know any of that, and it's just a bunch of blah, blah, blah,
right,
that means that the way you have been doing it is not working. So in the mystery school, we do everything that we can, no matter what modality we're using, okay,
right,
to basically shock the person past that wall of limitation. Anything that we can do to wake ourselves up, whether we have to move ourselves, meditate ourselves, perform in front of people because you have a fear of other people.
Wherever your limitations are, in your school, you push people beyond that limitation.
Exactly.
They willingly, you know, of course, I'm sure, once you join the mystery school, you sign something that says, yeah, okay, anything it takes to get
right, because it's a progressive, process.
Yeah.
Because you take the average person off the street and ask them to sit down and meditate for an hour, you could drive someone nuts. Right. Basically, just asking them to let's just sit down and be still and meditate for an hour. So you may have to start with people for 15 minutes, or for 10 minutes, or for 5 minutes, let alone a 10-day sitting meditation retreat.
No, I want to get into that more. But the bigger question is, aren't we all here for exactly that, to lift the veil? I mean, isn't that the reason for incarnation?
That's the reason for incarnation, but that's all. But the fact that people keep incarnating, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, is because they're not doing the work yet. Okay?
Yeah.
When you do the work, all right.
I know, the great work.
The great work.
Yeah.
You have decided that this could be the last incarnation, like this, the last unconscious incarnation. Right. That this is the last time I took a wrong turn in the in-between and found myself in a womb, incarnated yet again, is the last time. That's it. I'm not doing it, anymore. That's the decision that a person has to make, and then live their life aligned to it. Live their life according to that.
No, that's really beautiful. I sort of get chills because I sort of almost remember being back in the womb and say, oh, got to do it again. And this time, I'm ready to be as conscious as I can be. So in your mystery schools, people know, they already have to come with an awareness that there is that level of awakening possible for them. Right?
Absolutely, because you see, if we look at it from a yogic model,
Yeah.
that is when a person has had some kind of awakening already. If you want to look at it through the, let's say, the myths of the Arthurian legends, where someone has had a glimpse of the Holy Grail, all right, and then it disappears. You already know there's something. Or look at it from, in our culture, the near-death experience is very prevalent now. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows about the light. 20, 30, 40 years ago, people didn't know about the tunnel and going through the light because of people like Kubler-Ross and Raymond Moody. Right. Everyone knows that now. So you had a glimpse, you know something's possible, you want it again. So those are the people that want to come to a mystery school. The person on the street who says, you know what, I'm a scientific materialist. This is all there is. There's nothing more.
The way as we come out of the Kali Yuga, out of this time, the whole culture is waking up to the possibility that there is this other realm, that we are part of something greater.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's the first step.
Yes.
I am not this physical body.
Yes.
I am something else. I'm a consciousness. I'm an awareness. I exist even if I don't have this physical flesh, and I've existed many, many times before in physical flesh, and I'm just passing through. More and more people are getting that.
The end result, though, of a mystery school is not
To
just
enlighten.
but it's not just enlightenment. It's the ascension. It's the Hermes Trismegistus. It's to conquer the body, the mind, and the spirit to bring it into light, to ascend the body.
Exactly, and that's why we, in the mystery school, we try to address all of that, body, mind, and spirit. And one of the things that's very important for students in the mystery school, I don't mean people who drop by for a program. If you come to an evening Jerome session, that's not in the mystery school, you're dropping in. In fact, it's very hard to get in the mystery school.
Yeah.
Not very hard.
No, you want people who are serious. You're not going to waste your time with people who just are curious. Oh, that's...
They don't last anyway.
Yeah, because
they don't last anyway, because you see, what happens in the West, and I'm in the West.
No, I know.
Right, and you're in the West.
Yeah.
Is that when an authentic spiritual teacher asks a student to do something difficult,
they will say, get lost.
they usually run away.
That's right. When people realize our human potential, what we really are, I think everyone will want to be a part of that when they're finished with the material world or playing in that world.
Right. It's very important for a person to know, first of all, what they want to get out of a mystery school. If you're coming to hang out with a psychic, I'm the wrong psychic to hang out with.
Right. I know, but why do people want to why would people want to come to a mystery school?
Because the way that life has been so far does not work. Okay. See, the physical, we know. That's why we die. Physicality is unsustainable. Okay?
Unless your spirit incarnates.
Unless your spirit incarnates, exactly right. And not the unconsciousness or the ego. Because see, most people can only do 2 or 3 things. This is the reason why, as a psychic person that reads people, it's very easy to read people. Because the majority of people can only do maybe 2 or 3 things. They're stuck within that. So you know what I'm talking about, Alan.
I do.
If you ask, if you know that friend that calls you
Yeah.
and says, I'm dating somebody new. Alan, I know that you're a sensitive, or John, I know you're a sensitive. How do you think it's going to work out? You don't have to be that sensitive because you know that person. You know what they've been through in every relationship for the past 20 years, and you know it's going to happen again.
Exactly the same way it's always happened.
Because you keep doing what you do until you break the habit. So an intuitive who meets a person for the first time and they come in to have a session or a reading or have an astrological chart done, once I have a whiff of that energy, I know the 2 or 3 things they can do, and they become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So then in the mystery school, you do whatever it takes for people to drop out of the patterns, but if you're
We have certain classical techniques.
Yeah, like what?
Well, like for example, once or twice a year, we hold a 10-day sitting meditation technique. It's very important for people to learn some kind of meditative practice, which means some kind of practice where the journey becomes more within rather than on the outside. So meditation is very, very important. But in fact, that's all it really is, because meditation leads to awareness. Awareness leads to the knowledge of self. But we have to have things to support that, because in our hustle and bustle world, it's hard to tell people just to meditate an hour a day. So here's something that's very important, and that is there must be, I feel, with the intensity that's going on the planet now, I don't have to convince anybody of that.
Right.
Everyone knows
You
about
just look
that.
at the newspaper headlines.
Or the intensity of their own lives.
Yeah.
People are going crazy with the pressure of keeping up. All right.
Yeah.
So we must have some kind of sacred movement. And I don't mean just exercise, but I mean sacred movement with a purpose. That's why I own for the public, this is for the public, a Zen-based martial arts school. Because I want something that delivers the experience of meditation without me telling you, I'm going to teach you to meditate.
I see.
I don't tell people that when they come to the martial arts school. They get the experience delivered to them through the movements.
And some kind of sacred movement, maybe it's African dance or Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, belly dance,
Now, what
yoga.
does that do for the person at these times?
It helps us to process the intensity. People are like this, and they need some way to chant. But literally what's happening, Alan, is the universe is releasing the Kundalini.
Is that what 2012 is really about, you feel? This time, this era, this, maybe not just this year, but as we build into
the
universe is releasing its Kundalini.
Kundalini Awakening, or if you want to look at it from a Western terminology, there is a thick releasing of the Holy Spirit. All right.
How will that manifest, though? Besides the intensity, what is the ultimate goal of this release?
To wake up. And so you see, if you have it pressing on your door, and you can't process it, if you don't know how to take it into your body and raise it up into your crown chakra so that you can expand, this is how it manifests for you. It manifests for you, oh my God, I can't keep up. My life is too intense. Oh my goodness, I'm under too much stress. I hate my life. And through the negation of hating their life, a lot of people will let their lives fall. We're seeing this on a mass scale. The collective toppling of the system and the little systems in our own lives that's happening at a rampant pace.
Right.
Because if you do not have the courage to change your life, and yet you want to change it, through the law of attraction, you will manifest its collapse. Through the law of attraction, you can only be where you are. So the state that the world is in is the state that we're in.
Instead of the law of attraction, I call it the field.
Field.
In your field, you bring to you what you're vibrating at. It's the same thing as
whatever
law of
you're
attraction.
vibrating at is in your reality. The state the world is in is the state that we are in. As we change ourselves, we change the world. The Kundalini vibration that's being released on the planet right now, the planet is going through, it's so that we can arrive at some kind of heart space on the planet. So it's very important to stay in that heart space. It's very important. On the physical plane, love is an act of demonstration. It's not enough to walk by people and say, oh, I'm sending them light. When people I have been with New Agers on the street of New York who tell me they're sending the homeless light. You know what I tell them? I said, I tell you what, the next time your paycheck comes, give it to me and I'll send you light.
Right.
Okay, all it takes is a little bit of action. If the light is not inspiring you into a concerted action, it's not the light. It's your ego talking to you, letting you perform as you think a spiritual person should, but not actually being a spiritual person.
That's a total disconnection from spirit.
Okay, so the Holy Spirit, the Kundalini that is being released, we have to realize that everything that happens to everyone anywhere is happening to ourselves.
Because they're in our field, they're in our awareness, they're us. Yes, I get that.
Exactly. So for example, in the mystery school, when someone comes and wants to be a student, some people say, well, John, I don't have the money to be in your mystery school. I said, that's okay. This is what I need you to do instead. I need you to first go to the local organizations that send out volunteers, like when people are sentenced in court for community service, and I need a certificate from you that says you've put in X number of hours of community service, and then you come to my mystery school. Because if you are so stuck in your life that you can't even afford school, okay,
Right.
that means you need to do so. That's the best advice I can give you. I need you to get out there and serve some cause for which your ego is not directly involved. Bring me back that certificate that says, you know, John Doe, Jane Doe has served this many hours of community service, picking up trash in the park, volunteering at the hospital, volunteering at the SPCA. I don't even care what it is, because that's the person that's ready.
Right. Well, what do you want for yourself?
In this lifetime,
Yes.
I intend to wake up to the full potential of myself as a light being, and while I'm not a savior or a martyr in any way, no one would ever accuse me of being that or even being a nice person. Okay. By the way, my intention is to wake up and enlighten, and anyone that I can assist along the way who wants that assistance, that's what I'm here for. I know my mission is to educate people on the fact that they are more than their physical bodies. We are more than the flesh. We're more than this dimension. This is a very temporary experience. It is so temporary. Life is short in the physical. You have to
But
attend.
you have eternity.
You have eternity to attend to. We may as well start attending to it now. It's time to attend to it now.
So you're a student in the mystery school.
I am a student in the mystery school, and I am the oracle in the mystery school, which
Right.
means that Jerome uses my vessel, as he is an ascended master, to speak through and to teach the students that are in the school.
The purpose of the mystery schools is to give people an experience.
That's right.
And with experience comes knowledge.
Right.
Now, we could talk about metaphysics all we want.
That's the outer level of a mystery school.
Yeah.
The talk, the philosophy,
Right.
which is where most people stay.
Right.
That's why it's the widest path. It's a very wide path. You can find a lot of people in cafes chat about their light bodies and their ascension and their zodiac sign.
right.
But then you have a more narrow path, and these are the people who practice something. And then even more narrow path, the people who dedicate their entire lives to that practice, even if they're working in regular 9-to-5 jobs. That in itself can be a dedicated spiritual practice to the greater purpose of waking ourselves up
Right.
and helping to be a vessel to help waking up other people.
So let me just ask you about that. If the earth itself is having an activated Kundalini as a conscious being, what does the earth want? Where will the earth be or aspire to in this awakening of the earth?
The earth wants to come into balance. I believe that through a major advance in technology that is coming in this Aquarian age.
Can you see that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That we are going to develop a technology to address all of this, to make it everything much more sustainable. Something as an astrologer that I'm very excited about.
Yes.
Very excited about. Astrologers don't talk much about fixed stars. Okay, you know the moon. The moon moves in about a month around
Right,
the zodiac, and the sun in about a year, and
Right.
Jupiter in 12 years. A fixed star, Alan, takes 2,160 years to move around our zodiac. All right? So the fixed star that's called Regulus, the heart of the lion, okay, in the constellation of Leo, is about to change signs.
Is it?
It's about to change signs, and it only moves 1 degree a year. So it's in our lifetime, we have not had any of the major fixed stars
it's
change
going-
signs. It is shifting into the zodiac position of 0 degrees of Virgo, April 15th, 2012.
Wow.
Regulus will move to the 0 degree of Virgo, where it will be for 72 years until it moves to 1 degree of Virgo. The sign of Virgo, think about, first of all, the heart of the lion, where our heart is, where our love is, where we must love. It's a very masculine, sign. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to give you a context of that,
Yeah. Regulus.
Regulus went into Leo in about 150 BC. at the very beginning of the Roman Empire. So this march of the patriarchy and this march of the church was during this time where Regulus was in Leo, the sign of the emperor, the sign of the king, the sign of the empire. It's moving into Virgo.
The virgin, the maiden, the feminine, the divine feminine.
But what does Virgo mean esoterically, which brings us back to our point? Esoterically, Virgo's urge is to purify the light body.
That's why it's the virgin.
Yes, born of a virgin. We're going into a period where we're born of that purity. Humanity must be born of the virgin. And the Mayans talk about the balance of the male-female energy that must happen in this new age. We must be right with our partners. We must be right between the genders. There must be an equality. And the patriarchy is making its last stand to hold on. And what you are seeing in the world is people wanting their power back and the powers that be trying to hold on to it. And that's what the power struggle is in the world. When you see people that are marching in the street, when you see people that are doing the various Occupy this and that movement, the patriarchy, the unconscious patriarchy, it's making its last march. But the feminine energy is going to join with that in balance. And in the decades and centuries to come, we are truly moving into an era where technology and spirituality will meet as one, and we will have a higher light planet.
The more we talk about this, the more I have these kind of conversations on my program, the more it awakens for people who already know and for the people who have no idea. It awakens a possibility that there's more. There's more to us. The other thing you have mentioned to people is keep a dream journal. Now,
absolutely.
Why?
Because that's most of our dream life is lost. And I know that it is doable to make the dream state part of our spiritual practice. So even without someone coming and taking courses in the mystery school on how to do that, everyone that's listening can right now go down to the drugstore, get another notebook, and start to keep a journal of your dreams. And of course, you're going to have the objection, I don't remember my dreams. Well, you do remember something. What you have to do in the mornings is record how you feel when you wake up. So if you don't remember an image, record how you feel, because how you feel is a clue to what you were dreaming. So you wake up in the morning, do I feel contracted this morning? Do I feel expanded? Do I feel light and happy? What have you been doing in your dream world? That's the first step, because as you pay attention to your dreams, they'll pay attention to you by allowing you to remember them. That's very important.
But what is the dream world? Some people just say, I don't believe it. It's a psychological manifestation of our brains processing information.
Okay, that's part of dreams.
Right.
But there are other types of dreams. Okay, just two categories of dreams right now. One category of dream is we have a psychological need to put our day into perspective, especially a stressful day. If you have had a very stressful day, you need that dream time to put it all into order. But what about if you go to sleep with everything in order? What about if you can release that time spent in the dream state doing cataloging dreaming and instead did creative dreaming, or could actually project yourself into an objective reality rather than a subjective dream world where if you decide to fly across the room, you're flying across the room. If you decide that the beings that are with you all turn into cats, they all turn into cats. That's how you test yourself.
Is this the mystery school work?
That's how you test yourself, Alan, as to whether you're in a dream that's psychological and subjective and you're in your own astral plane, or whether you've really projected to another world. Because if I am meeting you in my dream, I can turn you into a cat. Okay?
Okay. Let's not meet right now.
But if I meet you in a higher world that's objective, I can't do that anymore because I have no control over you any more than I can turn you into a cat now. That's a test for being in an upper world.
I get that. I mean, that's some of the stuff that Castaneda, who was part of a bigger mystery school, the Toltec mystery schools. You're saying the more conscious we are in our dreams, the more we can actually manipulate this reality as well, the more control we have over this reality.
Absolutely, because if you can access a causal place in your dreams, I know that it is possible to bring something back from there. And what I'm interested in bringing back from there is more consciousness or more love or more joy. Or actually what I want to bring back from there is more substance to keep myself awake here. It's easy to fall asleep here. It's easy. I mean, people are walking around talking all the time, but it's easy to go into deep sleep. Most people walking around, even now in this new age, are asleep, partially asleep, so we have to do everything we can to move ourselves, shock ourselves, meditate ourselves into a wakeful moment.
Have you ever met any divine beings? Have anybody ever met, because I get the feeling you have.
I have met plenty of divine
beings. They've manifested, like who?
That have manifested. Well, you see, this is the thing. When I was a teenager starting this, and I saw manifestation of divine being, only thing I could relate to it was that it was Jesus.
Right, but
it's not.
But who? What? Did they?
I don't know in that sense, because what I get from them is, even Jerome says, we call ourselves Jerome because you need a name to refer to us. But where we come from, we do not require a name, we do not have a history, and who we might have used to have been on this planet is very irrelevant, but your human mind needs a story.
Right.
And you need someone to call it.
But Jerome has a frequency, though. I'm sure they chose that name because of the information that's carried.
That if he were to be here, that name has the frequency of what would, the name that he would be here.
Just to final wrap up, is there any tips that you want to give people, particularly for 2012, this year, as the Earth's Kundalini awakens, as the times get more intense? Tell people exactly what would be good.
Number one, I need you to get off of your couch, and I need you to get involved in some kind of sacred movement. I mean, literally, whether it's Qigong, Tai Chi, this kind of yoga, that kind of yoga, some Zen-based practice, because the energy is so intense that you need to find some way to process that, to burn off the steam and let that energy process, and just to keep your own self from going crazy. Number two, this year especially, I need you to find something greater than yourself to serve. For example, in the Mystery School, we fund the building of schools in Kenya. We're on school number 21. You need to find that, what that is for you in your life. Dedicate yourself to it, serve it. And number three, you need to find one other person to love, and to love very, very deeply. And I don't necessarily mean in a romantic way. In the Mystery School, we've most recently been talking about something called finding the universal in the particular. Okay? Those are the three things. Love someone, serve someone, and please move in sacred movement for your own sake.
Beautiful. You know, partly what that also does is maintain our electromagnetic field.
Exactly.
Because as the Earth starts to shift, that field is breaking down. We need to have a strong field around us to maintain vitality and health. So thank you so
very much
for being a part of this program. I've been talking to John Oliver, John J. Oliver, at johnjoliver.com. If you want to reach me, go to my website, newrealities.com, or email me at newrealities@earthlink.net. Thank you.